Antonia Scott has a gifted forensic mind. She can see what everyone else misses. She has the uncanny ability to reconstruct crimes and solve baffling cases. Jean Gutierrez is a disgraced police officer and the perfect foil for Antonia's jittery genius. Together, they get into impossible situations and solve impossible crimes. Red Queen, Black Wolf, and White King are three books written by Spanish author Juan Gomez Jurado. Together, they make up the Antonia Scott or Red Queen trilogy that is guaranteed to thrill and chill you and force you to keep reading through the night. Yes, I'm wearing a red t-shirt, very cheesy but very appropriate, right? Let's switch on the reading lamp. Hello, I'm Asavri, and on this channel, I review books and talk about reading in general. Shall we have a look at the details of today's book or books?
Facts and figures.
Red Queen, Black Wolf, and White King is a trilogy of thrillers written by Spanish author Juan Gomez Jurado. The original books in Spanish were published in consecutive years in 2018, 19, and 20. The English versions came out in 2023 and 24. And this is where you're going to want to box my ears because the third book in the series, White King, is yet to be published in English. But it is being published in March 2025. Keep listening and I'll tell you why it's worth the wait and why you shouldn't wait for that book to read these books. Red Queen is 402 pages long and Black Wolf is 370 pages long. White King is going to be 352 pages long. The first two are currently available in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle editions. The audiobooks are also available on Audible as well as on Storytel. You can find the link to buy the books on Amazon in the first pinned comment and in the description below. Now let's talk about the actual contents of the book. But as you know, no spoilers, no worry. Just
the cover story.
In this trilogy, you are going to meet two completely different people, Antonia Scott and Jean Gutierrez. When Red Queen opens, Antonia Scott is sitting barefoot on the floor, legs crossed, eyes closed. She is special, very special. She is not a policewoman or a lawyer. She has never wielded a weapon or carried a badge, and yet she has solved dozens of crimes. But for quite some time now, she hasn't left her attic in Madrid. She has lost some things which were far more important to her than the things which are waiting for her outside. And she doesn't receive any visitors, which is why when she hears unknown footsteps coming up the stairs towards her apartment, she doesn't like it at all. Whoever it is, Antonia is sure that they are coming to look for her, and she likes that even less. Jean Gutierrez is a muscular, barrel-chested mountain of a man. He is the one climbing up the stairs, but he has no idea at that point who Antonia Scott is. He has never seen or heard of her before, but he's coming to get her. If I say anything more, it would count as a spoiler, so suffice it to say that these books are about impossible mysteries solved by an impossible to understand genius. And now here's why I raced through the first two books in less than 3 days.
Speaking my mind.
The books are fast-paced, cerebral thrillers. Like all thrillers, they have the inevitable murders and gunfights and blood and gore in copious amounts. There were a few times when I felt queasy. If you hate small spaces, some of the pages in the first book are going to make you hyperventilate. In general, if you're someone who likes sweet, mushy stories, these books are not for you. But the mysteries are so darned good and complicated. The storyline goes off in unexpected directions. Some twists, you're going to see them coming, but most of them are not going to be obvious. A number of times you're going to think to yourself, What? Where did that come from? Now let's also talk about the elephant in the room. If you love thrillers, you must have read the Millennium series by Stieg Larsson. I mean, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Played with Fire, and what was the third one? The Girl Who Kicked the Honestness. I'm not talking about the later novels written by other authors after Stieg Larsson's death. For me, the Millennium series began and ended with Stieg Larsson. If you haven't read the series, obviously you should. And although it's a series that began way back in 2005, let me know in the comments if you would like to see an episode based on that series. So the point is, if you Google Red Queen, inevitably you're going to see comparisons with the girl with the dragon tattoo, or find quotes that say Juan Gomez Jurado is the new Stieg Larsson and Antonia Scott is the new Lisbeth Salander. Yes, the books are similar in some ways. Comparisons are made mainly because both series are thrillers with complicated storylines that feature a slightly unhinged, somewhat damaged, brilliant female protagonist supported by a strong male co protagonist. But it wouldn't be fair to club them together. Let's look at how they are different. First of all, the Red Queen books are more compact, more focused, and I dare say less confusing. With the Dragon Tattoo books, I often had to go back and check what or who the author was referring to. The word compact fits also because the books in the Red Queen trilogy are less than or closer to 400 pages, while the Dragon Tattoo books are almost 600 pages each. These look fat just because the print is bigger. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the Dragon Tattoo books. They are interesting, so you can't put them down. But they are long, so you get exhausted reading them. In comparison, the Red Queen books are tightly written. Juan Gomez Jurado doesn't wander far from the main story. Don't think that this means the stories are simple. No, they are complicated and have plenty of puzzles to keep you occupied. But he doesn't go off on tangents and writes in a minimalistic way. So the focus never strays far from the point. He stretches your interest just enough to create tension, but never so much as to break it. That is, in fact, what I liked best about his writing. He never loses you. I was consumed by curiosity, but not so frustrated that I would want to skip pages or, God forbid, go to the end and just be done with it. The books hold your attention from start to finish and keep you reading. In an interview, Juan Gomez Jurado has said that when he himself was a little boy, his father worked two jobs and returned home late at night. Every night, the first thing his father did upon coming home was to go to Juan's room and read him a story from a book. Years later, after Juan began reading for himself, he took a look at the book his father used to read to him from and found out that it was Arthur Schopenhauer's The World as Will and Representation. That is, it's an encyclopedia of philosophy. His father was only pretending to read and actually inventing a new story every night for Juan. He says that is when he realized how imagination and the love of stories can change people's lives. It's no wonder that Juan grew up to write interesting and best selling stories himself. It's also probably why, in a thriller full of murder and mayhem, he makes a profound observation like this.
Quote unquote.
The limits of your language are the limits of your world. This is something every avid reader understands intuitively, even if they don't express it in those terms. And it's why they can never read enough. This stopped me in my tracks as I was racing through the book. I actually stopped, highlighted, and took a deep breath in appreciation before racing ahead once again. Now it's time for the LINEDSCAPE rating of today's book.
LINEDSCAPE Rating.
LINEDSCAPE is the 10-factor book rating system that I have devised. You can find a link up there or in the description to a video that explains how it works. You can check that out. Everything is 9 on 10 except impact, which is 8 on 10, and enjoyment, which is a 10 on 10. That's a total score of 90 on 100 for today's book, which translates into 4.5 stars. And now it's time to put my thoughts.
In a nutshell,
The Antonia Scott or Red Queen trilogy by Juan Gomez Jurado is a humdinger of a trilogy. It's fast paced, intelligent, and original. Yes, I know that the third book is yet to be released, but don't wait for it to start reading the series. It's too good to put it off till March 2025 when the last book is going to be published. And if you finish these books now, you can jump straight into the concluding book when it releases. I bought these two books and sat on them for many weeks because I thought I would wait for the final installment to arrive so I could binge read them in a row. But the covers kept beckoning me, and I gave in to the temptation this Monday. I'm glad I did. So, my recommendation to you is don't wait till the third book arrives. Get these two books and start reading. Before I go, remember I upload a fresh episode every week. If you liked this episode, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you never miss an episode. And please share with your friends and family. The more, the merrier. This is Asavri signing off for now. But until the next time, have fun under the reading lamp. Switch on, read on.